Welcome to the Irrigation Insights Podcast, where we talk about the business of irrigation. I'm your host, Jacob.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
All right, we're back.
Back again. It's been a great day.
Yeah, sorry we keep missing weeks. It is, I say it every time, but that's just crazy. I mean,
everybody in this business should know by now, like this is the busy season pretty much. This is the beginning of our busiest months.
Yeah. We're in the busiest months. Everybody should be out making money.
And we have had to go through a lot of changes, upgrades, things of that nature.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot. Of course, it's been raining like no other here in Dallas.
Oh my God, it's rained for
weeks.
Pretty much. Well, it's been raining off and on for weeks, but this is the first week where it's rained like
every day.
It was on like raining the 7th day in a row, but then now these last 3 days it was on raining like 3 daytimes in a row, and I mean like, and it's not just like rains, like just like sprinkles and spot showers. It was like inch to inch and a half, like rains every day.
Yeah, I saw one of the lawn care groups I'm on. The guy here in North Texas said he got 6 inches of rain in 2 days.
Oh,
I mean, it's just.
Could you imagine being in a mowing business right now?
Oh, the mowing guys are.
They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many businesses that are affected by mowing. You know, if you're baling hay, I know that guys baling hay are struggling. Sod farms, anything.
Yeah, everything's struggling.
We couldn't even get sand delivered. We needed sand for a job. Couldn't get that.
Yeah, it's all a mess right now.
Yeah.
But it's looking up. We got lots of 80, 90-degree temperatures coming up.
Yeah.
Probably got a lot of calls today. It's Friday here on this episode, so probably got a lot of calls today while we were out.
There's always same-day service on Friday.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else in the industry that's dealt with that, but yeah, a lot of same-day service calls.
Yeah, definitely something you can prepare for. That's something you can make money on if you can keep your schedule open on Friday. I know if you can, and you're getting same-day services, you can make money right there. Be ready for that. I wanted to say congratulations to our boy Miles up in Calgary, Canada.
What did he do?
He got his first $1 million month in May.
In an area that probably only has like a 5 to 6 month busy season.
6 months, 180 days is their season. Calgary is the size. I mean, I think I looked up their population. I think it's like 2 to 3 million. It's the size of Dallas proper. I mean, just it's a big city, but not a lot of suburbs. I mean, just as far as markets go, I mean, it's a good sized market, just not huge compared to like DFW, Arizona. So that's awesome. $1 million month.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's good. That's really good in that economy.
Crushing it up there.
Yeah. Is he the biggest up there? Or?
I don't think he's the biggest. I think he's probably second or third biggest.
Wow. Makes you wonder what the biggest company did.
I met the guy who, I don't know what he did. I met the guy who runs but that other guy, he also does like some landscaping stuff too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, Miles, that guy had to hire, when I was talking to him in February, he was hiring 20, he said he had to hire like 20 people by the start of the season. Or 20-something.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's what he needed to hire to kick it off in a short amount of time.
I think we've hired 6 people this year.
Yeah.
So far.
Have we? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I think right at 6.
Yeah, maybe so.
This year.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah.
And he needed to hire like 20-something to hit what he wanted to.
Damn.
He uses a service called Rapid Hire Pro, where they run all the ads for you and kind of do, I think, the first phase of the interview to see if they meet your requirements. And if they do, they send over the applicant to you to do all that.
Well, I'm sure a lot of guys would be interested in this. I'd like to ask you some questions on you finally setting up Scheduling Pro with Service Titan.
Yeah,
that's going. I feel like that's going to be the next big thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff's moving to it already has moved online, but not a lot of people have the online booking. Miles has it. That Miles was I knew about it for a long time. Miles, he was kind of the person that pushed me over the edge because he sent me screenshots of, if you looked up sprinkler repair near me in Calgary, he got it. He was the only one that had the book online option in Calgary.
I was going to say we probably ought to maybe, because we probably got a lot of small time guys that listen. You might explain what that is first.
Yeah, Scheduling Pro is Service Titan's online booking option, and House Call Pro has a version. Jobber may have a version. These softwares have their own version where customers can go online, and this online booking will look at your schedule and let customers book directly into your schedule. It'll look and see what open slots you have in your schedule, and they can put their information in, tell you what services they need, and book an appointment right there without having to call you. Doesn't tie up a CSR, doesn't tie up anything. They just book an appointment, and then you can confirm it.
Yep. I kind of wonder too, we have a lot of people, as we get booking, if we get, days out and stuff, but even sometimes still, like, we get people that just like, oh, well, I forgot about my appointment, or, something came up. Like, I wonder if maybe if people are doing online bookings, if they'll have a higher percentage of like remembering when it is or being available for it.
That's a good point. I can't imagine if you book it yourself online if you'll forget. I mean,
yeah, because when you're booking with somebody, they're just telling you. But if you actually like interact with it and do it, you might have a better chance of remembering it.
I would think so. I would hope so. I mean, there's probably still going to be a few that forget, but it's got to be better. Yeah, and I know at least with Service Titan, with Service Titan, super in depth. I don't know about House Call Pro and Jobber and all that stuff, but we get, we have to set up zones and technicians assigned to zones, and what else goes into it? Because it's not like you have to build all this stuff out that way. You're not sending you're not sending them 50 miles apart and they don't have an hour drive time. And
yeah, well, I think here pretty soon we're going to have to look at Dispatch Pro. That's going to help a lot with that. Because the way that they book online, they book it and it drops into unassigned for the day that they're supposed to be on. And then your CSR or your dispatcher or whoever's doing it will assign the technician needed. So whoever assigns the technician is essentially in charge of building the route, because Scheduling Pro doesn't know your route. And neither does capacity planning, which is something I was going to talk about too. Like, it doesn't know your route. So it drops it in there for you so that you can determine where it goes. And that's where you could work hand in hand with a dispatcher and Dispatch Pro that would help you analyze where it needs to go based off of drive time, job type, technician history and all that other stuff. And based off of your zones too.
Yeah.
And Schedule Assistant can help you with that as well, but
Yeah, all that's going to help. I think Scheduling Pro is going to look great. Just there's not that many companies out there that have a book online option. When you're looking up companies on Google, most of it's just go to the website. I mean, this is book online, says it right there. And now you have all three ways. They can go to the website, fill out a form. They can call you. They can book online. They can text you. If you have a chat bot on your website, I mean, you can just have every way for a customer to interact with you.
Yeah. Something too, because I bet you there's some guys out there and some companies that probably do it this way, but I kind of got curious in what adaptive capacity planning in Service Titan would actually do for us. At this time, with the things that we do and the way we're structured, is not really going to be a helpful program to us. But I think for some of these companies, that are up north that do like boatloads of like winterizations and spring startups. So the way that adaptive capacity planning works, if you've got a CSR or if you're doing it yourself, if you're like on the phone with them and stuff, basically what you can do instead of, you can separate, because in Service Titan you can separate your technicians or your maintenance techs. You can separate your technicians out based off of what you want them to do. And capacity planning, what that allows you to do is instead of, finding what person can go there, instead of going through the whole process, like if you know you're going to get an influx of calls, right? You know, hey, this is the time that everybody calls for this. Everybody's going to be calling. Instead of sitting there, booking each one, assigning a technician, and scheduling, doing it all at once, what capacity planning will allow you to do is if you got an influx of calls coming in, you just click one button and it'll tell you how many, instead of it telling you it'll tell you how many hours that day you have available. And it looks at your shifts and stuff on ServiceTitan. It tells you, hey, you got this many hours of technician shift open that day. And you just tell them, hey, we can do whatever your arrival or job windows are and stuff. Like, hey, we can come at this time, this date. Do you want to book? You hit book. And then what you do is you come back through later. After you book all those jobs, you come back through later. Because you did it through capacity planning, it just essentially loaded up this entire screen for you of when all your whatever you're scheduling, whatever it is, it loaded everything on the day you wanted. Now you get to take the jobs, assign them to each person that you want, build your routes, figure out who you want to send, and all that kind of stuff.
I think that would be good for people, especially doing blowouts and all that stuff.
Yeah, anything. It's, because I was curious if it would help us with like regular scheduling and stuff, but it doesn't seem like it's going to help with a lot. But what it does look like it's good for is if like, hey, and it can work for this too. Like if like, well, it's the middle of the summer. Maybe I'm going to do an outbound or like a reach out, or we're going to do a giant like advertising, like something retarded, like 50% off of this, or like free this or free that. If I'm about to get a bunch of calls on this time, as soon as I release this, then you can use it.
Yeah.
Because it'll help you tear down, because you're going to get a lot of calls and you or your CSR, whoever's doing it's going to be sitting there booking each one, scheduling each one, assigning the technician. There's just too many steps versus they could say, we got this time on this day. Click, done. Yeah. Then you come back through later. If you're the business owner or the dispatcher or just somebody else, you can even have the CSR come back and come through. But at least you could get through all those calls really fast, get all the availabilities booked up, and then go through each day and assign the people and the techs you want. If you want to pull in some of your maintenance techs or your repair techs or your install techs and bring them in together and schedule their availabilities, you can go through and do that later instead of sitting there and assigning the people to it right there while you're on the phone with the person.
Yeah, that's nice. And
it just eats up too much time.
For like blowouts, I think you also assign how long. There's job types in ServiceTitan. So if like a blowout, the average time is like 45 minutes or an hour or 30 minutes or.
Yeah, it also looks at when you're using capacity planning. When you're booking it, and this is if you're using ServiceTitan, right? Like if you're using something else, I'm sure everything has something similar. It might not be the same, but in ServiceTitan, when you're trying to use adaptive capacity planning, you click the customer that you've got, or if it's a new customer, you fill it out, whatever you normally do. And then the only other thing you have to do is select a job type. Once you select the job type, then it will tell you what your capacity is going to be, because in ServiceTitan, you have to tell it how long the job type you just picked is. So
yeah, and if it knows it's 30 minutes and your availability for that whole day is 8 hours, then it'll know how many jobs you can do.
Yeah, it'll tell you, hey, if you're trying to book a 30-minute job, you got this many. You can put this many appointments on this day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, versus 2-hour job type.
Yeah, and you can even separate it. You can have it separated to where it'll show you, like if you click, like say we had a blowout, or say we had a spring startup. Let's say we wanted our blowouts only done by this set of technicians, and then you only wanted your spring startups done by this set of technicians. Whichever one you click, it'll show you the technicians that you want shown for that, like as a business unit.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can set that up under skills. Like
yeah, you can pick them by skills too.
Yeah, ServiceTitan does so many things. Really.
Yeah, and then you can tell it, well, I don't care. I want to see everyone's availability, or I only want to see technicians in this business unit, or I only want to see technicians in this zone, or I only want to see technicians with this skill. Like you can work with all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know how we're going to implement that part of it. I'm excited to see Scheduling Pro get online.
I don't think the way we do things, I don't ever think capacity planning is going to be good for us except for when we book all of those spring startups and winterizations. That's probably going to be the only thing it's good for.
Yeah, Scheduling Pro is going to be good. I mean, there's not many people that have online booking right now.
Yeah. The two best things that I've seen so far, I think Dispatch Pro is going to be really helpful, but after that, that's pretty much going to be like a max cap.
Yeah. I think some people are probably scared of online booking. I mean, I was kind of a little worried about people.
I mean, why wouldn't you be scared of it? If you don't know anything about it, the only thing you're thinking in your head is, why would I give the customer that much power?
Yeah, exactly. But
it's got so many back-end settings. Like, you could tell it, if you wanted to, you could probably tell it, hey, I only want them to book a week ahead of when they.
Yeah, you can set it to like they have to book a week out. You can put dead ends on there of like, you can have it. They have to select a job type. So if they're selecting pipe leaks, it'll dead end. They have to call in. If they're selecting valves, then it'll let them book. If you can have it to where they have to book a week out, but if it's like an emergency, then they can book. Or you could just have it to where if there is no availability, it'll tell them there's no availability. But if it's an emergency, it will direct them to call in, and then it'll flag it as an emergency. That way you could try to squeeze them in.
Yeah.
Make some money there. Yeah, there's a ton of things there, at least on ServiceTitan side. I don't know about the other ones. And, that's what you get when you pay for like a powerful software, not the...
Yeah. This is something else that's happened recently. I thought it was funny because we've spent so much time and money this year on growth. The funniest thing I've seen this year is when you came in here with that P&L sheet after all that money you spent on growth, thinking that P&L sheet was going to look even remotely correct.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, the freaking loss is going to be ginormous because you spent all this money on growth and we haven't seen the profit on it just yet.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't lost money. We're still making money. They were just like, oh, your revenue's doubled, but your cost of goods sold have gone way up. Everything's out of whack.
Yeah, it's because you spent all that money on growth and it hasn't offset itself yet.
Yeah.
That was funny. You got to take that. You do have to take that stuff into account when you're looking at a P&L sheet. Like if it was like August and we hadn't like spent any money on growth and nothing happened, if it was August and they said that, I might be a little more worried.
Yeah, well, by August we need to make that up.
Yeah,
we're gonna have
I think
to make
we
it
will.
up by August.
We will. One thing I wish, the only thing I wish you could know, and maybe everyone else knows. I don't think I know. I would like to know, how do you know how much to grow? Yeah, you don't. You just hire motherfuckers.
Well, I think if you're booked out 3 weeks, you got to hire. It's time to hire. I mean,
Well, let me rephrase that. I know you know when to grow, but how do you know how much to grow? Like, obviously, you can look at your sheet. Okay, if I'm booked out more than this amount of time, I need another person. But how do you know? What tells you, okay, I need to hire 3 more people? Like, how do you know that?
Man, there's probably a formula. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I know it because I've done that. I don't. I think.
Unfortunately, it's worked for us so far.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend I know it. I mean, I think we try to hire a good guy. If we're booked out and we have the opportunity to hire some stellar dudes, then we're going to do it. We just like keep hiring. You get to a point where you never stop hiring. And probably no matter what size you are, you should never stop hiring. Even if you're one guy, you're booked out 3 weeks. A lot of these solo guys they're booked out 2, 3, 4 weeks all year, and they have been for the last 5 years. You need to just start hiring and stay hiring, and just work on building your process up. Work on your hiring process, your training process.
I'm glad you said that because I just remembered. I picked this post up like the day that I left for vacation, and I wanted to bring it up the next time I got back. So this is a post that was in the Irrigation and Sprinkler System Tech Talk page. So it's anonymous, of course. I would want to be anonymous if I wrote this. I don't blame this guy. So his post says, how did first-year business owners in this industry also make sure they made enough for all of their personal bills to be paid? Rent, insurances, food, and tech. Always wanted to open my own company, scared to take the leap of faith.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember what the comments were.
Oh, I got the comments right here if you want to read some of them.
Interesting.
I think you just have to. I don't think you actually really know if you can. I think you just have to take the leap of faith. I think you just have to trust your process, do your research, and just take the leap of faith. I can tell you this, any of these like big time guys, and I'm not talking business owners, like any of these big time guys, like these rich guys you see running around, like, I don't know, like Elon Musk and all those guys that have had successful businesses, almost all of them have went bankrupt or failed once. And the reason that they do that, well, the reason that they do that is because every once in a while, your ambition will kind of bite you in the butt. But every one of those people bounce back. They always bounce back because they know, all right, I know how to do this. I got a little too ambitious right here. I'm not going to do that again. And they get successful. Once you get to that level of success, you're usually able to continue it.
Well, now you're touching on something because I've worried that my ambition would get the best of me. And sometimes you see other people on this Facebook group, on the Tech Talk Facebook group, and other Facebook groups saying, I had a business before. I've seen this on Reddit. They say, I had a business before. I grew too fast. I went bankrupt. I'll never do that again. So, like, they take the opposite approach. They're like, I lost once. I'm never trying it again.
What kind of ideology is that?
Yeah, I don't know. And then you have other people that are like, okay, I learned from it. I know what to do different next time. I'm gonna do it better.
Yeah, for lack of better words, that's a loser way of thinking.
Yeah, they're just a whipped dog now.
Yeah, it's because when you hear somebody say that, it's like, okay, so you know where you know what mistake you made, you know how to correct it, but you're not willing to try again.
No, they're not willing. They just got beat down and they're scared.
Yeah, your ambition almost got the best of you that one year.
Oh, it's almost got the best of me. Honestly, man, it's almost gotten the best of me a few times. I think the Lord has come through.
Well, I remember one time you seen it. And that's when you were like, hey, this guy said we got to like change everything or we're going to be out of business.
Those first couple of years, I mean, we got close to running out of money a few times. It was just like, I mean, I remember just a few things saved me. Those first couple of years, we'd always get like a big project right there, and like the 1st of March, it would be like,
and just an explosion of calls.
It'd be explosion of calls, or just like a decently big project, not like a huge project, but just enough to get me through March. It happened the first year I had Clint when I was mowing. I remember I hired Clint when I was mowing. I had like barely any money to hire him, and I just remember thinking like, oh man, I got to start actually paying him now. And then we got like this pond cleanup job. There's 2 ponds, had cattails all the way around it. They wanted it cleaned up. I think I charged them like $3,000 to do it. And I was like, all right, now I can pay him for this month.
Yeah.
And that'll get me through. And that was in February. So I was like, all right, now we can make it to March. And it was just like the first couple of years, that was always what it was. Like, I just need enough money to make it through one more month.
Yeah. I think when you take that first leap, you go from it's everything is a growing process. So when you first take the leap of faith, you're like, all right, how do I get through? I need to get through this day. Then you go so many days and you're like, all right, I just got to get through this next week. You go so many weeks. All right, I got to get through this next month. And then you start going to, well, I just got to get through this slow season. Then it goes to, all right, I just got to get through this next year. And then eventually you're at the point where you're like, all right, what am I going to do? How am I going to prepare for the next 10 years?
Yeah. Yeah, luckily we've hit the point now where I really haven't had to worry about getting through winter. The only thing I'm really worried about with this winter is we haven't grown so much that the winter will hurt me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it does, I mean, as bad as it sounds, you could just lay a couple people off. We'd make it
Yeah.
through the winter. But
Yeah.
I know we'll make it through one way or the other.
Well, and also too, I think one of the biggest, and people will probably disagree with me on this, but I think one of the biggest things that's going to help us get through. I think the biggest thing that's going to help us get through these times now is you accepted the ideology of we need reoccurring monthly revenue of some kind, and we started doing memberships, a couple years ago. We've grown that a lot. That's helped a lot. But something we rolled out this year, it's kind of weird because it has pros and cons. The thing we rolled out this year was we rolled out our own setup of financing, so it's in-house financing.
Mm-hmm.
And the kicker to that is, well, we get a 20% down payment up front that covers, the payroll and whatever. Hopefully most of the expenses, like the parts for the job, and then all we're out is the actual, like, the profits on it, which was, the rest of the 80%. But the good thing about it is there's not a whole lot of people that do it. It does help us close a lot more sales. I think we have at least increased on our closing. I think I've been kind of watching comparing to last year. I think we're up 5 to 6% on closing rates. I think that's where it's coming from. Because
I could see that.
It gives people another out, because some people don't want to go through, because we use Green Sky. Some people don't want to go through Green Sky. They'll go through us. And the good thing about it is now that adds another reoccurring monthly revenue, because some of those payments can range anywhere from like $80 to, like, the highest one I've seen so far is $213.
We have one lady that's paying $300 a month. That wasn't what it totaled, but she just wanted to pay $300 a month.
Yeah. So, and that's something. It's not great for numbers, because you look at our revenue and you're like, okay, well, that's not all completed revenue, which Service Titan actually lets us look at completed revenue. But it breaks up, because there's going to be enough of those jobs that happen through the year. It's going to break up into monthly payments, and that's just going to be something else that helps drive us through the slower times.
Yeah, how long have we been doing that?
We've only been doing in-house financing for like 2 months.
Yeah, and we're probably at like $5,000.
Yeah,
in $5,000 a month just from the in-house financing. So I mean, you just start compounding that. I mean, you compound that over and over. Probably by the end of the summer. By the end of the summer, it would be over $10,000. Who knows what it would be, but yeah, you would just have recurring revenue coming in from the in-house financing. It'd be nice.
Yeah, I think that's going to help. And I think it's something, I think that was one of the biggest things when it rolled out was, now all of a sudden we have monthly reoccurring revenue. Now all of a sudden this money, now all of a sudden we come to winter where the numbers drop really low because it slows down. But now we got this monthly revenue coming in. It's like, now it helps.
Yeah, and I didn't even do the in-house financing for that, really. I did it because Green Sky won't let you finance anybody less than $1,200. And I wanted to be able to, and Service Titan doesn't integrate. I don't think anybody integrates with like Afterpay or Affirm.
Yeah, and that's stupid, because a lot of people like Affirm and Afterpay.
I know.
Or Klarna or all that stuff, yeah.
I think they're going to eventually, but they're not there yet.
It might have something to do with them. Well, I don't know, because Affirm you find Affirm on like really expensive stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's the fact that it's home service. I think is maybe what's changing it.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Like, they're financing clothes. You can go to Walmart, get grocery. Like, you're gonna tell me I can finance freaking frozen pizzas on Affirm?
Yeah, you can finance frozen pizzas, but you can't finance like $6,000 in like stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think they're gonna get there. One of them will do it, like eventually.
Somebody will eventually make the big step.
Yeah, but I just wanted to be able to offer somebody like, okay, you haven't reached the $1,200 threshold, but you're at $900. You don't have the money. Well, let's offer you some type of buy now, pay later option.
Yeah.
So we just do it in house.
I think that's something, for this guy that's asking, how do I take the leap of faith? If you're worried about your monthly expenses, make that your goal.
Yeah.
That wasn't your goal when you started. Your goal was you had different goals. If you take that leap of faith with your first goal as the first goal, if you're taking this leap of faith, the first goal you need to have, and you might suffer a little bit personally, but the first thing you need to figure out, and obviously before you take this leap of faith, you need to work on your own personal expenses. If you got a bunch of stuff that you don't need, you need to start cutting that back. You may have to drive a piece of junk, or lower your insurance, get rid of your vehicle payments. You may have to move in with your mom or something like that. But when you take that leap of faith and you start a business, the very first goal that you could have is, how do I make this business pay for itself? Then once the business pays for itself, that's when you can start thinking about stuff like that.
Yeah.
You want the plane to fly by itself before you put something in it.
Yeah. Yep. Get rid of your free time. Just start hustling. What were we talking about right before that?
Right before what?
Right before you brought up that post.
We were talking about Scheduling Pro.
Oh, no, it was something after that. I don't remember. It was like on the verge of that post. I don't know.
Oh, we were talking about how you know when to grow.
Oh, yeah, how do you know when to grow?
Because my question was, like, obviously you can tell when you need to hire somebody else, but how do you know
how much?
Yeah, how do you know when to know? How do you know when you have to hire 3 people?
Yeah. I was just thinking about that. Too. I mean, we've taken some risks. And I think sometimes you just got to take the risk and see what happens. Because there's been and I'm not risk averse. I mean, you know that. There's definitely times where I'm like, dude, like, for real, we're really going to hire 3 people, buy 3 vans, wrap 3 vans, stock 3. That's like $30,000, $40,000. Then the wraps and the stock and the tools, buying the vans. That didn't even include the cost of the vans. That's just getting the vans on the road.
But also, too, when you're starting a business, like, a lot of people
don't go that hard.
What?
You gotta say, don't go that hard.
Yeah, well, no, not that. I mean, yes, but not that. Like, I don't know how many times, like, we'll be sitting here talking about buying a new van, and, like, one of the guys will be like, well, just go buy a brand new one. Like, so many people will do that. Like, why are you going and buying a $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 vehicle? Go buy one that's like $20,000 or $30,000. Like, you don't need to, like, you don't have to go all out.
Yeah, that second van I bought was $5,000. You remember that yellow? Yeah. That's what you got to do. I see these mowing crews riding around in like 2021 Chevy 2500 HDs.
Why?
And it's like, for real? You're slinging rocks at that sucker?
People get wrapped up in the idea of it's a tax write-off. Well, it is a tax write-off, but what are you going to write off when you go under because you got like a $2,000? You got $2,000 in 2 vehicle payments, and you have $3,000 in monthly income coming in.
Yeah, you know what's better than a tax write-off? Saving your money.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I just don't get that.
Yeah, I get it if you're at the end of the year and you know you're going to pay taxes on something. You're like, all right, at the end of the year, now I probably ought to buy something to help with that. But like, don't be going through the whole year like, oh, it's a write-off. Oh, it's a write-off. Before you know it, you got like $10,000 in monthly expenses, and you're like, oh, I only make $12,000 in monthly income on my busy months. Now what do I do?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and also those people that do that too, that's their personal vehicle. They want a person, like, they always wanted a nice truck, so they go out and buy a nice truck for their personal, like, that's their personal vehicle, and it's also their work vehicle. But it's like, dude, just.
I remember when we started, we had 2 vehicles. We had one decent van that you bought from somewhere. We had one truck that you got free from somebody. Mm-hmm. And when I had to call you, you were in the freaking second or third floor of your dad's house, and I could hear your window unit come on.
Yeah.
Just like absolutely like horrible living conditions. Like, all right, like these are the things that everybody wants to do: minimal effort, maximum results. Like, when you take that leap of faith, when you're not getting a monthly check, like there's things you gotta like prepare to get rid of. Like, if you got a gym membership, or you go out on Friday and Saturday nights, that might not be something you can do anymore for a little while.
No, No, when I started, when I got off, when I had no clients and whatever, I used to get off work and just go door to door. It was like every day I was going door to door.
Yeah, people don't want to make. I get this with some of the guys out here, some of the guys we've fired in the past. Like they want to do work stuff on work time, but then when work time's over, they want to do their own thing and do something else. Like that's not how a business thrives. It's not how it grows. If you just shut your whole ideology down at 5 o'clock, you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Being a business owner means you're working Saturdays. You're working till 8 o'clock working on this. Well, what do I need to do now? How can I improve this? How can I improve that? How do we get to the next step? Like you can't just say, oh, it's 5 o'clock. I'll deal with it tomorrow.
There's a lot of business owners out that way.
I'm going to get up at freaking 10 a.m. From 11 to 11:30. I'm going to go door to door. I'm going to go eat lunch. Then maybe I'll probably make a couple calls, and then I'll probably be home by 3.
There's some business owners that do that.
Yeah, that's not how you get places.
Mm-mm. No, that'll get you.
I remember lots of conversations I had with Clint bitching about how you were getting yelled at for staying out late and doing this and doing that.
Oh yeah, I used to get in trouble all the time.
Yeah. Well, now look at you.
Yeah.
You still get in trouble, but you got a lot more money now.
Yeah. I get in trouble every now and then. I say the same thing now I say back then. It's temporary.
Yeah. There's a lot of sacrifices you make when you start a business. Like I've been all over the country, been on lots of hunting trips, got to do a lot of cool hobbies, made a lot of different friends, lost some other friends, done all these different things in the last few years that I've been working for him. The only thing he's done in the last couple of years is start a business and learn how to play guitar. Those are the only two things that you've done in all the years that I've done all these other things. And now you're finally at the point where you got a little bit of time. You're trying to like catch up into it. And you're just like, man, everybody's so far ahead.
I know you're kind of living a life that
I
should be living. That's okay. I just work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you set out. Well, the difference is you set out like I'm gonna build a legacy.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is what you did essentially, that was your hobby. Like that was what you did. You didn't do it.
It really is my hobby. I think I guess it might come down to a mentality because like if I goof off for too long, then I start feeling guilty. Like my anxiety, like I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Man, you want to the
You
worst
should be working.
The 2 worst times I've ever talked to you was when March finally rolled around after we've been sitting around since freaking October. And the second worst time I've ever talked to you is when you came back from a week-long Mexican vacation, like going to Jamaica, I mean. You get back here like, all right, I've been gone for a week. What's happened? I feel like we're down in numbers, this and that. And I'm like, bro, everything is fine.
Yeah, my anxiety gets up. Yeah.
You just get an anxiety because you've been gone for a week and you don't know what's happened. You don't know what you could have fixed, like what's happened. No, like it's fine.
I'll be at the house like on a Friday. I have like 4 beers and I'll be grilling, and then I'll just like all of a sudden I'll be like, "Why are you having fun? You should be working. You should not be enjoying life.
Yeah,
you should be doing something productive."
Well, and I think it's where a lot of businesses get failed is people get too comfortable where they're at. Because the last thing that's another thing too. Like there's so many things that we do. We're constantly changing processes and other things. And it's like we're keeping up. But like the first time you sit down and relax too long, you make your own business stagnant with you.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too. Cause I was just thinking about this. There's other businesses that have been around for like, 20 years, that outrank us on Google, but in 5 years, we've caught up to them. They're still a little bit above us, but we've caught up to them. And we're doing things that they're not. And then I'm starting to think like, okay, AI is coming out. There's AI search results. Like we got to stay on top of all the new stuff. They're still haven't even caught up to things that we were doing a year ago. We got to stay on top of everything new coming out.
Yep. That's how we'll become over them. They've been in business 20 years, but we keep pushing at the rate that we're doing, we'll be ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because eventually it's going to get to a point where they get a call, they go out, and the customers, they'll be like, you don't do this? No. Oh, well, them guys over there at Lawn Sense do.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to call them back out here.
Yeah.
Or like you said, with online booking, they're going to go on Google. Oh, I could book online with them. Can't book online with these people. I'm going to go with them.
Yeah. And I don't even know how much all this stuff's going to even matter in the next 5 years with AI search results.
Yeah.
That's going to, when that thing really, like, I don't know, that's going to disrupt everything once it fully takes place. Because it's just starting to kind of show its face. Like I was playing around with it the other day. And I don't know. It's starting to creep out into the world.
Well, the biggest thing I would probably tell you, and the biggest thing I'd probably tell anybody listening is there's a reason that's on our wall in there. Stay relevant.
Yeah.
There's a saying on our wall that was left behind by the business that was here that outgrew this building, and it says stay relevant.
Yep.
Because if you don't stay relevant, everything's going to pass you, and all of a sudden you're going to look up one day and be like, how did I get so far behind?
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you got to take some risks, like I was saying. I mean, just going back to that question. I don't know. Once you decide, you're like, God, hiring people, I don't know if I can. There's been times I don't know. We just decide, all right, that's what we're doing. We make a plan. I think that's what we kind of do is we make a plan. This is how it could work. If we're going to do it, this is how it would work. And if it doesn't work, this is what we'll do. I feel like that's kind of what we do. So,
it is what we do.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to hire 3 people right now. If we're going to, this is how we have to do it. And if at any point in time it starts to not work, this is what we have to do to get out of it. And then we just freaking run with it at full speed. Then that's the other thing too. I feel like you kind of have to run with it full speed once you decide. You can't half-ass it.
Yeah, you can't just you can't launch something out and then be like, all right, it's kind of got some bugs, it kind of works. But no, once you turn something on or do something, you're like, all right, we got to figure this out like now.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of nuts. Really, because if you're like, 3 people, that gets expensive. Like you got to be ready to nut up on that, and I don't like it, honestly, because you start spending that money, and you're like, man, I hate spending money, and you're watching the bank account go down and down and down. That's what investment is when you start investing in something to grow the business, and you're just like, man, I hate spending this money. I just want to make the money back at this point, but you just have to keep doing it. You're already in it. You just got to roll with it.
Yep. Yeah.
But I will say, it's a pretty great feeling when you're like, all right, I'm going to take the risk, even if it's 2 guys or 1 guy, whatever. Like, I'm going to hire this guy. We're going to train him. I'm going to buy the van. We'll wrap it. I'm going to buy all the tools. I'm going to stock it. And it might be $15,000. You don't really want to spend the $15,000, or maybe it's a tight $15,000. You do it. You get him trained. However many months later, year later, whatever it takes, he finally gets out on his own. And he crushes it, and you make that money back, and you're like, paid off. You're like, sweet, it worked. That's a good feeling.
Yep. Well, I think we hit a lot of good points today.
Yeah, it's been an hour.
It's been right at it.
You like to say that, and then it would be like 38 minutes.
I have not. It's actually been 50 minutes this time.
All right.
But we had a fun day. We got some more fun coming. Had a couple guys that seemed like they were kind of struggling, so we decided to give everybody the day off, take them to Topgolf, cook them some food.
Yeah, about to have a big party.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool to watch now that we got so many people, it's cool to watch the internals change, build culture. And everybody when you first bring them in and say, hey, we're going to do all these things now, and they're like, why? That's pointless. And then you kind of think about it, you're like, yeah, it does seem pointless. But then what doesn't seem pointless is when you take them, do stuff like we did today, you see people making friends, talking to them, stuff you've never seen before, and you're like,
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. It builds a culture that makes everybody comfortable, makes everybody happy, gives them a good environment to work in.
Yeah, you can start seeing the pride in where they work too. That's what it was cool to see like Shay walking in here with he was with Eric, one of the the new Eric, and just showing them all the old timers we got on the wall and talking about, man, I pulled that one off. I replaced that one. I put that up here. Just showing them around, just giving them tips and just the pride. And that was cool, especially coming from Shay, since he's kind of a pessimist.
Yeah.
But I like Shay, but it was cool.
Everybody. What I like the most is you see these people you hire, you talk to them, you see them interact with everyone, make friends, and you're just like, there's no way on any planet that these guys would ever sit in a room together if not for here.
No, they'll never hang out. They might fight each other.
Yeah. And just off rip, just meeting out in the world, like, just like, no, not happening.
No.
But like here, they're all friends. They all hang out, talk to each other. Everybody's got their phone number. Some people play games together. We're having a cornhole tournament today, partnering up with people, and it's just like there's no way that these people would ever interact with each other outside of this, ever.
No, it's gonna be cool. Yeah, and you're giving away a Ridge wallet.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Ridge Wallet.
No, we're not. I wish.
Yeah, sponsored by Ridge Wallet. Sponsored by Blue Chew.
Technically, we're giving away 2 Ridge wallets.
2 Ridge Wallets. Oh, yeah, because there's teams with 2. Dang.
Yeah. That's why you're paying for one of them. No, I'm just kidding. We'll figure it out. No, it's going to be good. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be games afterward. Just, let everybody have a reminder that it's not always just about making money and getting everything done.
Yeah, I'm going to go cook them some tacos and let everybody talk crap about my cooking.
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's about it. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Well, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Audible, wherever. Send it to your friends. Let's get the word out.
Yeah. Let's get some more people. We still need some guests. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if, wherever you're listening at in the country, if there's a big company in your area, send them to us. Just say, hey, we're out in Kansas City. There's this big company out here. Send us their name, and we'll reach out to them and see if they'll come on the show.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get off and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
All right. See y'all next time. A little delay.